The Nebraska football team continues their preparations for Colorado. Hi, Sean Callahan for HuskerOnline.com. As Huskers were full pads here today, and it's all hands on deck as defensive coordinator Erik Chinander said this team is ready for a test in Boulder.
Experts always say the biggest improvements between game one and game two, and I know we'll improve, but this is going to be a big test. I mean, Colorado's a good football team. They pose a lot of problems, so we've got to be super, super sharp. And I think having that first game where you have some success on defense, but you also have a lot of things to fix, kind of lets everybody know, hey, we haven't arrived. We're not there. We need to dial this thing back, or it's going to be a long day on Saturday. So I'm glad for the success. I'm also glad of some things that we need to get corrected.
Last week wasn't the best for Nebraska in terms of practice. How has this week been?
Yeah, I mean, last week on the defensive side we practiced pretty good. So far this week it's been really good. These guys understand what we're asking. You know, having those black shirt guys come and talk to them, I think that meant a lot. You know, just talking about day to day, not just Saturday, but day to day. How do you prepare? You know, how do you get ready? How do you work in the weight room, in the film room? And I think this group is different than last year in the fact that every single guy is, you know, has a learning attitude, has a workmanlike attitude where they want to get better, whatever it takes. Just tell us what it takes and we'll do it.
And as for an improved level of focus, Chinander said that shouldn't be a problem this week either.
This group is dialed in. This group saw at the end of the year last year and through winter and summer conditioning that he's got a plan for us, and that plan is going to work. So let's follow that plan. Is there going to be some bumps in the road? Yeah, there's going to be some bumps in the road. But right now, he's laid the plan out, and they want to follow it.
Another big storyline this week will be the center position for Nebraska. There were some issues with blocking, snaps, and we talked to Cameron Jurgens here for the first time this season, and he gave his thoughts on kind of what needs to get better.
I think it's just, getting more reps and getting more game reps, having a guy there and so many fans. Everything's correctable, just rushing myself, and I'll be ready for it next week.
Is the pressure of the microscope on you, though, is it something different you really never had to experience in your athletic career before?
I think everyone that goes to play football here is going to have a pretty big microscope on them, so that's just something I got to get used to, and I've kind of had to deal with that throughout high school. So, I'm not worried about outside noises. It's just everything going on within the team and listening to what my coaches and trainers tell me, and that's what I'm going to be worried about.
We caught up with defensive line coach Tony Tuioti, and he gave some early thoughts on this Buffalo offense.
I think with the defensive head coach, the mentality is always to be physical, be able to run the football, control the clock, and so they were able to do that successfully last week against Colorado State. So we got our work cut out for us. There's a big challenge ahead of us to be able to stop the run and be stout. And then they have Chinander there too as well. That's a weapon on the outside. So they can attack you on the perimeters. They can attack you, vertically in the pass game. So we just got to make sure we do a good job both in the run and pass game up front.
Something else to watch this week will be the safety position for Nebraska. Deontay Williams still battles a shoulder injury. Last week, though, the Huskers did a nice job of kind of shuffling things around.
Nah, nothing really changes, but more communication, because at the same time, you don't get as many reps with them guys as you should, but as a group, we are close. So, what I know, they know, and what they know, I know. And we all trust each other, so we should know where we should be at certain times.
It's just how we practice. It's kind of how I envision that thing to be. If one guy goes down, the next guy goes up, and I think I made the comment before, hey, if you touch the field, you're a starter. And so, when Erik got his chance, he was expected to play at a high level.
We saw a lot of new faces step up on the defense this past week. One of those guys that came off some injuries here from the offseason is JoJo Domann.
Yeah, absolutely. He did well. He executed what we asked him to execute when we asked him to do it, and I think that's one of the things you got to recognize when you have a bunch of different guys. Everybody's got their different strengths and weaknesses, and you try to use the scheme to maximize their strengths and limit their weaknesses. So that was really good.
The kicker position still continues to be a question for Nebraska, as true freshman Dylan Jorgensen had to step in for Barrett Pickering.
I think it's hard on a kid who's a true freshman walk-on that's asked to kick right before, early, that's a little bit difficult for him. So I thought he did average. If you want me to be brutally honest, it was probably average. It wasn't up to par, but, it was enough to help us get what we needed to get done. So it's going to have to improve. But, anytime you're a true freshman kicking in front of the hometown crowd that's about 90,000 or so like that, you got to make sure that, you calm the guy down. So, we continue to put him in some of those pressure situations should we need him again.
And then lastly, after an up-and-down performance this past week against South Alabama, this football team just looking forward to going out to the road in a great college football atmosphere.
Yeah, I mean, first time we're playing a different stadium this year, so obviously it's going to have its challenges, but not really focused on, the atmosphere, just really focused on ourselves as a unit and just getting better. So.
Huskers will get back to work again here on Wednesday as they continue preparations for the Buffaloes. With the Huskers here in Lincoln, I'm Sean Callahan of HuskerOnline.com.